an honor to be up here with you today for this special tribute.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I thought I wanted to make 3 points about Vampira that are rarely made, and the many things that have been written about her. She's probably the most famous person whose career rests on the approximately 2.5 minutes of footage that we can see of her original show. But she was, the first point I want to make is that, does anyone know her real name? Of course not, because no one can pronounce it. Mila Nurmi was from Finland, and she was not only from Finland, she was from the part of Finland that is so far north that, that there are hardly any people there. And in World War II, Russia took it away from Finland because Finland basically didn't care. And so the biggest city there is Murmansk, and it's so cold that everyone leaves. So the first point I want to make is that you got to be tough to be a horror host. And she is not only the first woman horror host, but the first Finnish horror host, and the last. The other point I want to make is that every horror host needs a producer. And Mila Nurmi was discovered by a producer at Channel 7 in Los Angeles, and he had the foresight to put her style, help create her style, and to put it together with a package of movies. And to this day, that formula of creating a style that goes with horror movies, and usually involving comedy, and usually involving outlandish, caricaturish performances of some sort, that style exists to the present. But we still need a producer, and we always need a producer. The other point I want to make is that the real importance of Vampira was that it showed to other people that movies, and especially movies that were forgotten by Hollywood, and were considered trash. The movies that were shown on Vampira's show were considered unplayable, unusable. They had run back in the 30s, and they were never going to be used again. They were put in a group of films that they got temporary rights to run on the air, and the formula worked. And the studios, for the first time, took notice that maybe television could be their friend and not their enemy. And so as a result, Columbia Pictures converted its company Screen Gems into the first syndication company. And the reason it was called Screen Gems is they didn't want the name Columbia on anything associated with TV. But at Screen Gems, they put together the first big horror package in 1955. And that horror package of movies, there were 52 movies, one for every week of the year, and a local TV station could buy those movies at a really bargain price. And those movies were bought by every station in the country. Every station in the country then got a horror host. The original model for that was John Zackerly in New Jersey and New York. And then it played out in an endless variety of personalities all across the country as they ran these same Universal horror films and other horror films. And that is the basis of what we have today in this wonderful, variegated world of horror hosts actually, we run the same movies over and over and over again, don't we? And so Vampira made all that happen. Thank you very much.
Together here today to pay tribute to Mila Nurmi, whether we could pronounce her name or not before we arrived here. Thank you, Joe Bob, for helping with that. All I can say is that I feel a great sense of, I feel indebted to Mila Nurmi for coming out and setting the template, even if she reluctantly did so at first. She certainly came to embrace it, and even before she embraced it, she set the tone with her look and her style. She's a very fashionable woman. As Dr. Goldfinger pointed out, she was an artist. I'd like to think of all of us here, all of you, as my brothers and sisters, and I like to think of all of us as being artists, and I appreciate everyone's art. I've seen most everyone's work here today, and I really think that all of you are artists and are to be applauded. I think you should applaud yourselves today. Beyond that, Mila Nurmi I feel indebted to because, as Ms. Monster has said, she is the mother of us all. She is the foremother. She is the matriarch of all horror hosts. And for that, I will love her forever. And I feel that she is here today and is aware that this tribute is taking place for her. So I just want to say thank you, Mila.